I'm cool. I know a little bit about Nick Cannon stuff.
Okay, so let me do Nick Cannon first.
Let's do it.
Is that something
His leg.
I'm itching this shit. I got so much to say on everything.
Okay.
All right, cool. So this week, Nick Cannon, recent release. Congratulations to Nick Cannon. He's expecting his 8th child. He just announced that this week. So, congrats to him and his family and the woman involved. Salute. We love new life. But yeah, there's been a lot of talk since he's come out and announced that. There's been a lot of talk because, recently, God bless the dead, he recently had one of his sons pass, at a very young age. I think he wasn't even a few months old.
Yeah, it was brain cancer.
Yeah, okay, right. A sickness like that, right. So a lot of people, people always gonna talk, unfortunately. And not that we really give a fuck, but I will say this. When a lot of people say a lot of shit, even though I don't be giving a fuck, I at least be trying to understand a little bit where they're, all right, but how did you formulate that thought?
Okay.
Like, how did you come to that thought? And a lot of women and men, I won't even just put it on women, are saying, like, it's a little too close and it seems a bit, sperm donor-ish.
Okay.
The kind of way.
That's the narrative?
We've kind of hinted at this a little bit.
Okay.
And before, when we spoke about it, we didn't really necessarily look at Nick as in that light. We kind of looked at it as a guy that, recently announced he might have some health issues and it looked like he's just trying to live the life
I remember that.
to the best of his abilities, right?
Is he okay?
Hopefully. We're praying.
I remember that.
Right. So I will say this, that the thing that made me think about this, right, as a descendant of polygamy.
Okay.
Right? Because my grandfather and my mother was involved. Not my grandfather. My mom is a child of polygamy. Correct.
Right.
So my grandfather had a bunch of wives. And I think after me trying to understand where people were coming from with the outrage about Nick Cannon, I wanted to kind of put myself into that light. And I'm like, okay. See, there's two sides of this conversation, right? It's people were saying like, yo, this guy got a bunch of money.
Okay.
He could do what he want. It looked like everybody happy on that side. It looked like the wives all get along.
Okay.
What's the issue?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Issue.
Right. The other side is, okay, can you really be a viable father for each one of the children that you're bringing into this world?
Right.
And, just from the thoughts of my brain on this conversation, my mom has gone into conversations about her upbringing multiple times when I had to pull it out, of course.
Of course.
But people really don't understand. See, my grandfather was a wealthy man in Nigeria.
Okay.
He basically owned majority of the block, if not the whole block.
Okay.
This is like a really big block back from where I'm from.
Okay.
In Benin.
So you come from money. Okay.
No,
I'm just discovering.
You and your grandfather both ran the block.
It's okay. You
So
ran the
you
block.
just got it.
Yeah.
In your DNA.
I heard that.
You just got it inherently. You just a block runner.
He owned the block. It was a big
in
block.
your blood.
He said a big block.
I can't be like you now. I get it. All right.
It was a big block.
My
Right. No, I get
I
it.
gotta talk to that nigga.
Right.
What the
No.
fuck you was doing, my nigga?
He passed.
It's all good.
Blocks, nigga.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Here's the question: where's the block?
Yeah.
Who got the block?
Nah,
I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know.
I don't know nothing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't know nothing.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But my mother was telling me that, granted, my grandfather had a lot of money.
Okay.
Had funds. And when I say a lot of money, he was able to take care of 11 wives and X amount of children. We're talking over 50 to 60 children. You get what I'm saying? So.
The original Nick Cannon.
The original Nick is my grandfather. So every time I've heard a new, like, Nick Cannon announcement, I promise you, I've just thought about my family and its upbringing. And again, back to what my mother was saying, it can be difficult to do that even with the funds and money.
Sure.
Because my aunts and uncles, I think they still deal with a lot of emotional distress in their adult life because of lack of certain things. A lot. I feel like I've seen a lot of they don't feel like they've been their full selves. Again, something they've never voiced, but I see it.
Right.
And again, kind of like I've never had my dad before. So just thinking about the whole thing, originally I was like, what's wrong? Because my grandfather did. I'm like, yo, he brought mad kids into this world.
Right.
I got mad uncles, mad cousins.
Your family is
Yo, it's huge.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting part. It's huge, but it's not fully connected.
Sure. And that's I get that.
And
It's a disconnect.
I think that's the point that kind of like
So
stuck with me. Yeah.
So I got a clip that I do want to play, but before I even play this clip, do you think seeing Nick Cannon's decision to procreate at such a massive level with different women, do you look at that and empathize for the children that he's bringing into this world? Do you look at him and relate that to the structure of your grandfather? Like, I know it's different cultures. Because
but you're kind of in the same light.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same kind of, concept, so to speak. So do you look at that and be like, yo, I empathize with those kids because I come from a system of, and I won't say broken home, but disconnected.
Right.
Disconnected.
Okay. Right. I absolutely agree with that because think about it like this, right? My grandfather lived with majority of it, if not all his children and wives, and it still brought about issues. Things still lingered.
He lived with all of them?
Yeah, things were still unhealthy. My granddad was in the house, nigga.
I see.
Yo, he the one. That's why I get all the juices from the son. It's straight from him. I'm a direct descendant of Baba.
That's Dick Cannon.
Yeah. All right. You are sick.
Yo, how long you held that?
No.
How long you held that?
I'm sorry.
How long you held that?
Sick.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a full court.
Nah, he's shooting.
That's full court.
Nah, that's a full court
At the
LeBron
buzzer,
shot.
he just threw it up.
Nah, bro, your grandfather's that guy.
You called his grandfather Dick Cannon.
Bro, that nigga got
Baba,
mad.
sorry.
He got no disrespect, bro.
Baba, sorry, yo. Hell.
All right, I'm sorry, bro.
Oh my
Baba,
God.
I didn't mean no disrespect. That's a nickname. It's a nickname.
That shit is
But
funny.
Dick Cannon, bro, that nigga got bad kids.
Yo,
I can't get that out of my
mad
head.
kids, bro. And again, in hindsight, my grandfather probably thought it's beautiful, right? You got all your kids in one area.
And I'm taking care of all of them.
I'm taking care of all of them, or at least you think you are in every facet. But one thing I've realized with kids and myself coming up, you kids need a lot of attention.
Yeah. I get
Kids,
that.
yeah.
Can I play this clip?
Absolutely,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure this is the clip that I'm looking for. I haven't heard it, but I typed in some keywords and Google did its thing.
Fire away.
Let's talk about that. This is this lupus thing again, right?
Yeah.
Are you working too much still? Are you going at it too hard in life?
Everybody says that. You've been saying that for years.
This is a Nick Cannon interview.
With
near-death situations,
Howard Stern.
life-threatening
Sound like?
situations. It's honest. It's real. I feel like, yo, I'm running out of time. When every time I think I'm doing good, then I got to go back to the fucking hospital, and it's
Do you
like,
fear death?
I almost died this time. The blood clots and shit. I don't fear it. I welcome it. I got to a space now where it's like that's just. It's probably gonna happen. I'm probably gonna die sooner than most people, and because that's what the doctor said. But I'm living life like
No, what did the doctor?
fuck, I might die in the morning, so let's fuck all night. Like,
Nick, what did the? Yeah, right. Well, now you got a
comedy
point.
right
The
there.
doctors,
why wear condoms? I might not be here tomorrow.
but Nick, the doctors have said to you, Nick,
When it gets serious,
could you die a very young man? Could you die like in your 40s?
yeah.
I'm sorry I'm playing the whole clip, but I think it's important.
That's crazy, yo.
Like,
Sorry if this is a trigger.
blood transfusions was because, like, if they didn't do that, I would have died.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, just to give it a little bit of context of in a different perspective, right? I just wanted to add to the conversation, not necessarily shift anybody's way of thinking.
Yeah.
Because I understand it is, it's a heavy conversation to have.
Right.
But I came across this interview on like his 6th child announcement.
Right.
And it was kind of trending, but it didn't get the traction that I felt that it deserved. But I always kept this in the back of my head because, we see Nick Cannon and he's everywhere.
Right.
Right? So that's the first thing you think healthy. You see somebody who's active, right?
Right.
We have these conversations, or we have these instances where there's, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, who we see everywhere, but he looks a little different. He's moving a little different.
That
And
All-Star
he
game.
was sick. He was fighting something, and he was still in the public eye. We look into Cannon. I think he has like this fitness thing that he's doing on his page, and like, he's in shape. He got a daytime talk show. He got Wild 'N Out.
Right.
He does radio. He's hosting award shows. Like, the guy is everywhere. He has a million jobs. Like, he's fucking amazing.
Right.
And so we don't really equate that with not being healthy, but he does have a condition where he has fought for his life and he fears for his life. And according to what he just said in this interview, and this was back in 2017, so it may have changed. I don't know his current standing, but even if it did change, to be faced with that, it has to hold some kind of weight with how you move and go through life, right?
Yeah.
So for Nick, I can imagine that it plays a part in why he just started going crazy.
I remember this interview too. Like I remember this was like, oh, he has lupus. Like he has lupus. I wanted to say lupus, but I didn't want to misdiagnose him. But yeah, man, I don't know if it's a product of him sensing his mortality in a sense of like I have to do as much as I can, But it does. I think it's safe to guess that's like, oh, this might have something to do with it. He might know something that we don't, with his health. He might not want to tell us, and so he might be spreading his seed. Who knows? Here's my issue: if the women in this situation are happy and fine with it. Because it takes two people to decide to have a baby.
Granted, it takes a village to raise a child. So I can even see why he find it comfortable to go out and work and do stuff when there's a lot of people around.
Sure. So in my head, if the woman is happy and she is consensual to it, and then he's happy, the women look happy. You know what I mean? Like I've seen the baby showers. They're having baby showers and gender reveals. So he is paying attention to it and giving it time and like giving each woman. At the end of the day, if that family is happy with how that family is run, I don't have no quarrels with it. He can do whatever he wants.
So can I
everybody's
ask y'all,
happy?
and I somewhat asked you, Alex, but I want to ask y'all a little bit more directly. Being both of y'all been open on this podcast about y'all relationships or lack thereof with your fathers. And when you hear somebody like a Nick Cannon who is saying, hey, I am actively, consciously procreating with children, knowing I may not be there. Some fathers aren't there for certain reasons. We talk about my dad. My dad was locked up a large portion of my childhood, my upbringing. He wasn't there for that reason. Some people's parents pass away. Like, y'all dads weren't there for whatever reason. Y'all dad, everybody has their reasoning, but it's still a simple common denominator that we can say, all right, or maybe that y'all can relate to. And I could too, to a degree, because I went without my biological father for some years, although I did have my stepdad who stepped in and stepped up. It was still something missing in that regard. But when you hear Nick Cannon say, hey, I know that I could check out at any moment, but I still want to create all these kids, do y'all look at that and feel any type of way towards Nick or that situation? Like, what are y'all thoughts? Knowing how important a father is and knowing that he's risking not being there for those kids that he's created.
That was a well thought out point. And for me, I will say under that, guys, and me being biased, I think we're a little biased because we grew up without our fathers in a sense of just like, I don't have moments of like throwing a baseball and like riding my bike. Like, even though I seen some footage recently of when I was a little boy and my dad is outside and I'm riding a bike and I was like, holy shit, what happened? But something happened when I turned like 4, something happened and it was over. Like, and then it was like the relationship is over. But I don't remember any of these moments. Like, I didn't have any moments with my dad. So for me, I understand where you're coming from and I get it. But at the same time, I say to myself, that is those kids' lives, and I would say it's safe to assume that Nick is setting up their lives for the future. So I think that if I had a legacy of my dad to hold on to, like, my dad did A, B, C for me, then it's different. As opposed to what I have to say is like, my dad lived right over there, but
it's a different situation.
I still want more. For my dad to be alive and me to look at what he's done for me, I go, damn, bro, like, you could have did more. You understand what I'm saying? That's not a slight to dad. Dad love you. But at the end of the day, he knows. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's that. So it's like, hey, it's all about what you leave me with. That's the real shit. Do you leave me with wisdom? Do you leave me with financial situation? That's what matters to me the most. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I like how you verse that, bro. Because with me, it's a slippery slope. Because part of it is I'm alive and thank you for bringing me into this world. And now the other side of that is, how can I create my mental space to adapt and learn things with subtraction? And that's something I know I had to do at a very young age. It's carried me into adulthood. It's a mental preparation of knowing that, you might be on your own with this, and understanding that you're gonna be alone with this for a very long time. And I put this out because I'm so blessed that I was able to just be so strong-willed, and I still am to this day. But these kids aren't. You get what I'm saying? And the next generation, the Gen Z, then this Generation Alpha, emotionally they are changing at a drastic rate. You know, so. In essence, I do like what you said though, Dev, because it's like, if you leave a legacy for family, and we all gotta, because the other cool part is, look, I got all these cool brothers and sisters. It's really a big fan. That's why SaVon has something similar to that. So you know what I'm saying? So if it could be brought together, cool, but there's still going to be those moments where you need that. So it's tough for me.